fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. We are in November, which means we are in the middle of our Diamond Paint Along for this month, which is DP for Veterans. So I'm working on my Poppy kit. So let me grab some drills, zoom into where I'm going to be working, and I will be right back. Okay, I've got my timer started. I've got my drills out here. So let me just jump into my life update. What's been going on in my regular life? Quite a bit. So let's see, where did I last leave you off? Last week we were going to my mother-in-law's for my brother-in-law's birthday. I took my pumpkin pie trifle. Everybody loved it. I mean, what's not to love? It was basically pumpkin pie with whipped cream layers. So it was a big hit. Also, my sister-in-law had made some kind of maple upside down cake. Basically, you take like a maple butter sugar mixture, boil it all together, pour it in the bottom of the pan, and then you pour in the cake mix and bake it. It was delicious. And she thought we were going to have way too much left over for dessert, but there were, I think, 10 or 11 of us. We had enough for like one serving of the pumpkin pie trifle left, and we had a couple of servings left of her maple cake, so nothing went to waste. It was very good, and I really like the trifle, so now I know that it works. I want to try it with some other stuff. It would be good for any pie, I think. What else has been going on? The youngest and I had eye appointments this week. I don't know if it's because we were new patients, but we were there forever. Like our appointments were at like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and we didn't get done until almost 4. So went in and had a bunch of the testing and stuff done. You know, they make you look at the thing that measures your eyes, where you look at the barn in the distance. And then the machine that puts the puffs of air in your eye to see if you have glaucoma. And then they have this machine that when they turned it on, I swear to goodness, sounded like a jet airplane was trying to take off. And you have to press your forehead into it, and then you look ahead. But if you have to press a certain pressure. If you press too hard, the light goes red and you have to make it green so I can take photos of the back of your eye. And it's super bright. So I was seeing flashes of light already. And then there was a separate little waiting room, and then I had to wait to see the doctor. And then when I went to see the doctor, she did a whole bunch of tests with my eyes covered and stuff that I've never done before. Oh, and before that, I had this one test. It was almost like a game to check your peripheral vision. I've never had this done before. So they cover one of your eyes and you look ahead and they like shine lights to see if you can see them in your peripheral vision. And you have like a little clicker that you're supposed to click whenever you see the light in your periphery. It's almost like playing a video game. I was getting into it there at the end, but sometimes I think I clicked it when there was nothing. Anyway, so then I saw her, the doctor, and did a bunch of the, read this, read this. Then they put the thing in front of your face and do the, is 1 better, is 2 better, how about 3 or 4, all that kind of stuff. And then my son, after he was done, he's like, did she pull out the Steve Urkel glasses for you too? And I had to laugh because I didn't think of them that way. But basically, she had this big drawer of like lenses and then these little glasses that fit over your face. And then she could put the lenses in for your appropriate prescription so she could check everything. It was kind of funny. I've never had anybody do that before. And in the States, whenever we left, they would give us a copy of our prescription so that you could go get your glasses wherever you wanted, which we normally just got them at my eye doctor's anyway, but they would still give you a printout. And then she wanted to dilate my eyes, which was different this time. Usually it just makes me really sensitive to light when I've had it done before. This time it made my vision go really blurry and it lasted for a lot longer than usual. So I don't know what's different about it up here. Thank goodness my husband had gone with us so he could drive us home. Sorry, the dogs were making noise, and I know everybody wants to know about the dogs. I'll get there in a minute. My son ended up not having his eyes dilated, which was good because we actually had dinner plans with friends and family, and wouldn't have made it on time. I'd forgotten all about it. Anyway, so she didn't dilate my son's eyes, so he has to go back and have that done. Plus, he has to go back. He also wears contacts. He wears his glasses most of the time, but he does wear contacts for like when he's doing sports and stuff. So he has to go back and they have to do all kinds of eye measurements and stuff for that for him. So he's going back for that. So it's interesting. We did order new glasses for him. They're supposed to be in a couple of weeks. So hopefully his, oh my goodness, the lenses keep falling out. He broke the bow on one of the arms of it. Pieces of the bow have fallen off. So he's had to like put electrical tape over it so it doesn't scratch him while he's wearing it. So hopefully they come in sooner rather than later. I made an appointment for hubby to go in because he's really bad about keeping up with stuff for his health. The first time we went in for dental cleanings, he didn't want to go. So the next time after we were done, I made an appointment for all three of us. And then same thing with the eye exam. Oh, I don't need to go in. Well, he does because he's diabetic and your eyes can be, you just need to keep track of them. So he has an appointment to go in a few months and get those checked out. So hopefully we are on track for all of that stuff now. We actually have appointments later this month for us to all get our teeth cleaned, so I'm hoping the dogs will be settled in enough by then that it will be okay that they are left alone, because that should be around the 3-week mark. And that's what everything that the dog rescue sent us was a 3-3-3 rule. 3 days for them to decompress from the trip, 3 weeks for them to kind of start to feel comfortable, and 3 months for them to really start feeling at home in the space. We're actually going to the in-laws later today, and they wanted us to bring the dogs so that he could meet, my brother-in-law's dog could meet them, but I just don't think they're ready for that yet. They're doing better than I think they would have if we only had one of them. Like their first night, they slept in their crate and they were great. It was an adventure getting them though. So if you're not aware and you haven't been following all the stuff going on with the dogs, we adopted them from a rescue down in Texas. And they basically, they spay the dogs or neuter them. They are microchipped. They get heartworm checked. They get all of their shots to make sure that they're current. And they get all their paperwork together so they can bring them across the border. So they set out on like Tuesday, I think, from Texas, loaded up their bus. They had 52 dogs, and then they bring them all up to the Maritimes here, and they have 3 different stops. We were going to be meeting them at the last stop. So as they make the trip, they send little pup dates on their Facebook page. They would post pictures of them whenever they stop to let the dogs out. They stop at like Love's and other places that have like a little play area, and they let all the little dogs out first. They had a couple this time that had like health problems. One of them was blind, so the blind one and another one got out first. Then they would bring out all the little dogs and they would bring out all the big dogs. And our 2 were, one's considered big, one's considered little, so they were next to each other on the bus, even though they weren't in the same crate. So they got to be like little travel companions, sort of, I guess. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're looking forward to it. We've been getting all the little updates, and then Thursday night we get a notice that their transport bus has broken down. The transmission has gone out. It will not shift gears, and they haven't made it to where they were going to stop in Maine. They're trying to figure out what to do, if they can get somebody to fix it, how much it's going to cost, what they were going to do with the dogs. And they ended up getting really, really lucky. The place where they happened to break down, there was a place that worked on big rigs because it's like a Freightliner bus. They had been closed that day to do inventory, so they were going to be open in the evening instead of their normal hours. So they were open late. And one of the mechanics there happened to be a dog lover. And when he found out that they had a bus full of dogs that they were transporting, and no idea what they were going to do if they couldn't make it, he had them come in and he fixed it up. He only charged them for parts. They didn't charge them any labor. So a fix that they said would probably have been around $1,400 only cost $400. And I mean, people were offering all kinds of things in their Facebook group. There was a guy that had a horse trailer that said the trailer is more than big enough to house all the cages for the dogs and everything. It was heated and air conditioned. He had a big truck that would pull it. He offered to come down and get all the pups if they couldn't figure out what they were going to do. But luckily, they found the guy. They were so, so grateful. And all of us who were getting dogs on the bus were so, so grateful because he got them fixed and back in working order in just a couple of hours. They made it to wherever they had planned to stay in Maine. And they were able to hit the road Friday morning as scheduled, cross the border, get everything done, make it to all their stops, and get all the dogs unloaded. So we got the dogs. It was crazy cold. We were at a dog park where they were unloading basically, and there must have been at least 30 people there because I guess the last stop was where most of the people were getting their dogs. But it was so cold, and everybody, of course, wanting their dogs to be the first ones off the bus. We got ours pretty quickly since we were getting two of them. So we got them, and we had a place in the back rigged up for them to set in so they could be in like the cargo area. And then my husband had bought like cage bars to put above the seats so they couldn't jump over the seats. But then they were getting kind of whiny back there, so we opened up the little middle part, which is usually for like if you have something long and you need to slide it from the cargo area through the, and Oscar, the little one, wiggled his way through. He ended up sleeping on my son's lap most of the way home. And I'll put up pictures so you can see both of them. Oscar is the little, they told us half wiener dog, half corgi. I don't know what he is, but he's cute. He's still a puppy. We need to get him a chew toy because he's still got some sharp little puppy teeth. And Sable is the older one. She's 4 years old, or will be 4 years old in December. And she's actually the more timid one. She spent most of the first night just kind of checking everything out, moving around, sniffing everything. She really likes looking out the windows, but she's a little confused by my son's bedroom door because it has windows on it. The people who owned the house before were using it as an office. For whatever reason, it has windows in it. My son has a curtain hung up, so he has privacy, but we keep meaning to change out the door. We just haven't done it yet. But she'll go stand in front of the door and just wait, even when he's not in there. So we have a little area outside where they can go. Although my husband thought he had fixed, there's like a chain link fence around it. The people who owned the house before had two bigger dogs. So we fixed everything so little Oscar couldn't get out. But apparently, Sable is big enough to get into some trouble because my husband went out there, he couldn't find her, and she had stuck her head through where the gate is, between the gate and where the fence starts, and gotten stuck. I don't know how she managed to get it in there, but then she couldn't get her head back out, so he went out there and rescued her. And of course, we've had the expected. They're not completely housebroken yet, so still dealing with accidents and such, but we're trying to get them on a schedule, go outside, stay with them until they use the restroom, and then I took treats out with me so I could give them treats when they were good. Again, not to say that they're not having accidents, but at least they're getting used to it, and they did sleep in their crate both the first night and last night, so they're doing good. The crate was made for a much bigger dog, so the two of them can fit in there easily, and they still have room to turn around and everything. And they are not barky dogs, really. Oscar has growled a couple of times at my son just because he doesn't recognize him at first. My son likes to wear hoodies with his hood up, so Oscar will growl at him occasionally, but they don't really bark. They've whined, but they haven't really barked, so. But Oscar's happy to have Sable to play with, and she's old enough she'll let him chew on her for a little bit before she gets tired of it, so I guess he has a little bit of a chew toy in her. But they're super cute. It seems like we've had them forever already, even though it's only been a couple of days. My brother-in-law wanted us to bring him up there, but like I said, I don't think they're ready for that yet. I think they would be okay meeting the St. Bernard, but they're not housebroken yet, and I really don't want to take them up there and have them making a mess all over my mother-in-law's house, and I don't want to leave them outside the whole time we're up there, so we'll save them meeting the St. Bernard for another day. Anyway, so I will also put a link down below to the animal rescue. It's called Barking Mad Animal Rescue. If any of you are located in the States or in Texas and feel like making a donation, I'm sure they would appreciate it. I know times are tough for everybody, but they have just been overwhelmed, as have been a lot of shelters, especially down there from all that flooding. Not that long ago down there, they were taking in all kinds of animals. This particular shelter has taken a couple of bad hoarding cases, so they have a lot of animals who need a good home. Or if you're not in a place where you want to adopt, they have a lot of animals who need fed and housed and taken care of. So I will put that down there. This is a rescue that brings the dogs, like I said, from Texas up to the Maritimes, but they also adopt out into the States if any of you are interested in that. There are a couple of other dog rescues in Texas as well, and probably some other places in the States as well that do the same thing, transport them up here. I don't know why Canada seems to have such a shortage of dogs, but I know just from our looking, if our local shelter got a dog, it was gone within hours of it arriving. There are not enough dogs around here for people that want them. I know that's part of the reason they bring them up here because I don't know why. You'd think dog breeders or something would fill that space, but I don't know if they have stricter rules about breeders up here, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, they had, like I said, I think they said 52 dogs on the bus, so 52 dogs who were hopefully going to their forever homes. It was amazing. It was the people that got the dogs right before us that got their dog. They had two little girls. Of course, they're wrapped up in a blanket, freezing. Their dog was some kind of like pit bull mix, that kind of face, some kind of terrier. And she just trotted off the bus right over to them. Hey, how you doing? And they walked away to their car, happy as a clam. When we got Sable, she was a little skittish, but she didn't mind following us. Oscar, at first, was having none of it. He was fighting the leash and trying to get away from us. We finally had to pick him up and put him in the car, and then he settled down. And then, like I said, once he got onto my son's lap, he slept most of the way home. But it was good. So other than becoming pet parents, what else have we been doing? We binged the night before we got the dogs. We binged Only Murders in the Building, the latest season. It was really good. I do enjoy waiting until they've all come out so I can binge watch it though, because I have no patience. So I'm not good at waiting for, like, I don't like waiting for a whole week for the next one to come out because every episode ends on some kind of a cliffhanger. So we binge watched that, and then of course there's going to be a season 6, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a good time. And then of course we spent the rest of the weekend kind of dog proofing the house. We had to buy a gate for the stairs. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I don't think either one of them have encountered stairs before. So going upstairs to go to bed at night, of course, they went upstairs and went right into the crate, no problem. But then coming down the stairs, Sable was just not sure how to do it. I think it took her 5 minutes to come down the stairs. And Oscar was going too fast and almost his rear end went over his head. He saved himself at the last minute. So they've had to get used to it. And our deck has stairs too. So they have to go up and down the stairs to get out to our little doggy area. But they figured it out, so it's all good. We did have to get a gate because they kept going upstairs, and until their house broken, I didn't want them up there with no supervision, so we ended up going to get a baby gate. But then, where my diamond painting stuff is, someone kept coming in and leaving little deposits, so my husband temporarily has rigged up an opening to keep the dogs out. They could jump it if they wanted to. At least Sable could. Sorry about that. My husband had to take the dogs outside. They were getting too rambunctious upstairs. Apparently, they think that our bed is where they're supposed to play, so he was trying to take them upstairs and be quiet while I filmed. Anyway, what was I saying? We binge watched Only Murders in the Building, so we're done with that now. And then it was just a busy weekend of settling in with the dogs. We got home with them Friday night, watching racing. This was a sprint weekend, so there was stuff to watch on Friday night and Saturday and today. CFL games for hubby to watch, and then, of course, NFL games. So lots and lots of football. And I need to refigure out how to do my diamond painting because the table that I just left set up, Sable is tall enough to reach up and just put her paws on it, so she knocked, thankfully, only my trash tray in the floor, so I did have to clean up some trash drills off the floor. Thankfully, everything was in my containers and closed, so she didn't knock any of that on the floor. And I think if I'm sitting there diamond painting, it'll be okay, but instead of leaving it out in the living room, I need to put it away when I'm not working on it. So just a little bit more back and forth for me than I'm going to be used to, but that's okay. I was telling hubby yesterday, it feels like we've had them forever already, even though we've only had them for a couple of days. So once we get them house trained, and I don't have to worry about them leaving little presents everywhere, it'll be much better. So that's what's going on in my personal life. What's going on in my diamond painting life? Well, I'm still working on the poppies, as you can see, for DP for Veterans. I opened up another kit, which was yesterday's video, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. It is a kit by Susan Wingate called Patriotic Camper. And somebody said this is a lot of people look for that one in the D-stash groups because you can't get it anymore. I didn't realize it was one that was so desirable or whatever. It's just one that I bought kind of on a whim. It was just kind of a nice departure, I thought, from what you usually see as far as patriotic type canvases. And it happened to work out that it fit what I wanted so that I could use my Forever Young and finish testing those out. So now I've got those two to get through. I've also been working on my Autumn Sun kit. And then I realized, I think I told you guys when I was doing my goals video, I didn't think I was going to get 3 of my Stay or Go videos done. But as I was looking back through my list, I realized that the Christmas shop one that I plan to do next month is actually one of my Stay or Go. So now I'm even more motivated to get that one done. If I do the Autumn Sun and finish that one, and then I do the Ye Olde Christmas, I will meet that goal. So I'm going to work really hard on that. And then I was watching Lizette Crafts and Tells, and I thought it was kind of funny. One of her things that she's looking to do as a challenge for next year is, I think she's calling it Refresh Your Stash or something. But it's basically doing what I've been trying to do this year and working through all of your older kits to get them done so you can make room in your stash for newer diamond paintings that have all the newer, fancier stuff, plus the nicer drills, all that kind of thing, which is what I'm going to do. I still haven't decided if what I'm going to get on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I don't know if Diamond Art Club is going to release as many as they normally do. Same with Dreamer Designs. I did get an email from Dreamer Designs that they are going to be raising their prices between 5 and 10% for 2026. So basically buy now while the prices are still low. Not that they're super low, but lower than they will be next year anyway. So I thought it was interesting that Lizette and I must be kind of thinking alike, because that's kind of been the whole point of me trying to work through all of my stash kits, is that that's what I want to do. And that's why I was debating whether or not I wanted to make working on my oldest kits another goal, because I've already done that once, but like they don't get any younger sitting in my stash, right? I want to get to a point where I don't feel guilty that I'm buying more kits, which means I just need to get my stash number down to a number that's comfortable for me. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm not there. And then work through the older ones, like I said, so that I can get to the ones that have the better drills, the nicer drills, the more pleasant experience. Okay, you guys, I don't know how long this video is going to be because the dogs keep interrupting. They want to play till we get out the phone to video them, then they want to lay down and be quiet. Then as soon as you put your phone away, they want to be loud and make noise. So anyway, so Dreamer Designs, getting rid of the older kits in my stash. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Not that working on my older kits is not enjoyable. It's just the drills are not quite as nice. Obviously, they've made improvements and changes over the years. The grids are not as tight, so things are a little bit gappier. So while I enjoy working on them, it's just not as enjoyable as working on some of the newer ones. Like, except for the ABs, working on Little Baker was really good. Although I am kind of debating how that's going to work out for me with the Patriotic Camper one, because there's a lot of white ABs in that one too. There's 3 bags of white ABs. Hopefully they will not be as bad as the windows. Ooh, if it's an older kit, it should be gappier, so should be easier. Okay, that makes me feel better about that one actually. So I think I have most of my goals figured out for next year and what I want to do. Now I just need to kind of start breaking them down into chunks. How much do I need to do each month or each quarter or whatever, so I can keep myself better on track. Like this year, saying that I wanted to do the 4 spanglers and then breaking it down to doing one every quarter worked much better than me just trying to work through them boom, boom, boom. Especially since they were all older kits that I knew were going to be gap year and probably a little bit frustrating in places. Although I gotta say, not as frustrating as all those ABs and Little Baker. So yeah, I want to finish this one and Patriotic Camper for DP for Veterans. I want to finish the Autumn Sun. And then hopefully those will be my 3 for November. If I have time to do one more, maybe I will. It's hard to know with the dogs how much time I'm actually going to have to diamond paint while we're training them and everything. It's a lot more of me going outside and spending time with them outside while we house break them and that sort of thing. But we'll get there. I was really impressed how well they did in crate that very first night. So yeah, it's all good. We're excited to have them. I think it's all going to go well. We still have things to do. We need to get them into the vet. We need to take them to the groomers. Both of them need their nails trimmed. I had a bad experience with one of our pups having that done. They cut it too far down to the quick and basically having to sedate the poor dog and fix the toenail because they cut it too short, and I want to go through that again. So find out what groomer my brother-in-law uses and then see if she will take on R2. If nothing else, they do free nail trims at the shelter here, so may end up taking them down there if we can't get them in at the groomer. But they need baths. And hubby and I were debating whether we wanted to buy all the stuff just to bathe them at home. And I was like, I'd rather just take them to the groomers, let them be at the groomers, get used to going to the groomers. And then that's something we've done from the get-go so they can get used to it. Because they were pretty smelly. Just smelled like dogs, but pretty doggy smelling after being on the bus for 3 days with 50 other animals, which is understandable, but they need a good clean. And then after that, the house needs a good clean. So that's on the agenda for later today. So I hope everybody is enjoying the Diamond Paint Along for Veterans. Veterans Day is just around the corner, so if you have the means to make a donation to your local veterans organization, whether that's a VFW, a Legion, anything like that. There are also ones that you can find online if you prefer to make donations online. I just try to find ones where your dollar gets the most use. Sometimes a lot of those big national organizations, too much of it ends up going to overhead, administration fees, and like salaries and that kind of thing. If you donate locally, it tends to all or 90% of it go to what you're actually donating it for. So yeah, if you plan to donate, leave a comment down below. I'm going to figure out some place to donate to. I may do the same place I did last year, or I may find a Canadian one this year. We've already donated some money just because here you donate money to get a poppy that you can wear. So we've already donated some there, but I may see what else there is to do. My father-in-law and my brother-in-law are both veterans in the Canadian forces. So yeah, if you can do that, like I said, local ones, it's a lot easier to see where your money is going directly when you donate locally. Okay, I think that's everything I needed to tell you guys. I know this is probably a short whip and chat, but hubby is not having fun trying to keep the dogs quiet while I film this. I need to learn to get up and film in the morning before they're awake or something. Maybe that would cut down on traffic noise too. I don't know. Oh, we did get our first snow. I forgot to mention that. I think it was the dog's first snow. I mean, coming from Texas, they maybe have seen snow before, but I think the rescue is pretty far south, so I don't know. Sable might have at 4 years old. I don't think Oscar had ever seen it before, but when we got up Saturday morning to let them outside, we had probably half an inch on the ground. It was all melted by noon, but we did have some snow, so at least we got some, and it all melted and soaked into the ground, so that'll be good. So we officially had our first snow, even if it was a week late, at least a week later than usual. Anyway, okay, so I made some decent progress here. I'm not completely done with the teacup yet, but I'm getting there. I just got to finish the handle here. Okay, so yeah, I got quite a bit done. I'm happy with that. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hi, Oscar. Get down. What are you doing, Sable?